Stevanius, and I am back with another video. And today we're going to be having a look at this awesome Sons of Horus Praetor in Terminator armor. At least I believe it's a Praetor. I think you can use it for just about anything. I think it's, spoiler alert, I think it's an amazing model. I really like it. They've hit all the beats with it. Even the pose is a bit unique. We still have a tactical rock, which he's standing on, but look, at this point, you know, it's not too bad. So yeah, we'll be having a look at this guy today, giving a talk about it. Also want to have a talk about you know, some other opinions that I've seen. You know, people having a little bit of a statement, just saying that like, oh, it shouldn't have been a Sons of Horus model. You know, we're still waiting on Salamanders, we're still waiting on other units of Raven Guard, etc. Which is all true, but I want to have a bit of an expansion on that and just, you know, share some of my thoughts and my opinions in regards to that. Yeah, so it should be fantastic. I had my game the other day of 30k with the guys, and it was really epic. I went up against two knights, and I haven't actually seen knights in action in 30k before. I've only seen them and played them in 40k, so I decided to add some knights to my army. So not only will I have an all-knight army for 30k, but I'll also have, because I've got the models here, but I've also decided to give the Alpha Legion some knight support. And here you can see this is Brother Lazarus of the Seventh Serpent House. I haven't named it properly yet, but whatever. You know, I like to name all my stuff and create little stories for all my units and stuff. That's why I like my Alpha Legion are different colors, and they all have like a reason for it. But whatever. So yeah, you can see here that I've got, like, you know, the heraldry, the checkers and everything going on, and you've got the stripes and stuff. I've started to do, you know, just pimp him up a bit. You know, he's got to shift his color a bit, which is pretty cool. I've decided to go for the traditional purple scheme of the Alpha Legion scheme, because number one, it's going to be a little bit different from the rest of my force, which is blue and teal, like depending on what unit as per the books. So I've decided to do that. I was debating about this sort of turquoisey here on the checkers, but I was going to do it more of a blue color. But I was concerned that it was going to not mix in too well. It'd be just because there's already a bit of blue in the purple. But no, I think it turned out really well. I have to get better at the checkering and that. It's the first time I've actually done checker patterns on a round surface. The challenge for me, I've done checker patterns before, but the challenge for me is because these pauldrons are actually quite round. So, like, it's quite challenging to sort of line up the checkers correctly, because you're dealing with a flat shape that's going around like a spherical object, right? So basically, yeah, it could be quite annoying in that sense. Yeah, so that's what that is, but I'm happy with it. It's pretty good. I'll try and improve it for the next one. Yeah, it's pretty good, and I'm liking the colors. I'm thinking it's going to balance out really well. He's obviously got a thermal cannon. My mate Matt recommended it. It's one of the guys I played with the other day, and yeah, so get him finished and see how he rolls, and probably add some more knights to the army later on. It should be pretty good. They'll obviously be silver around, like the trims and everything like that, which will be good. But yeah, I'll definitely get some 30k models and stuff as well. Start painting that up. Be awesome. So yeah, on to the Horus, the Sons of Horus Cataphractii armor. So yeah, look guys, if you like the contents of the video, please consider sharing the video, liking and subscribing to the channel. We are going to be picking up our content on the channel. As you know, like, this isn't a money-making thing for me. I don't even have a Patreon. I didn't really want one. I don't really want one. I've got other work I do. So it's, at the moment, it's really just videos when I can get them out. But heading up towards Christmas, I want to be doing it more. Hopefully next year, we can start to get more regular videos back up on the channel again, which would be awesome. You know, because I had a bit of a break for a bit. We spoke about that in another video, but I think it's time to ramp it up a bit, and that's why I've kept it going on here, even though there was a break at some point. So I'd just like to thank all my subscribers so much for staying with me through that. It's awesome staying subscribed and being very tolerant. You know, it's been a difficult climate at the moment around the world and stuff like that, so I understand we've all gone through a bit of stuff. So it was very important for me that I had to make sure that my actual job was doing well. you know, because you don't want to be, well, how am I going to buy Warhammer, right? Like if I don't have money, right? So that's the thing. So you got to keep that going, and it got pretty full on. So you know, next week I'm working with some of the artists from June and stuff like that. You know, some of those guys going to be training some studios over the next few weeks. Some pretty big ones, world top studios. We're training some of their artists in some things. And so it's going to be pretty eventful next few weeks. But then I'm going to play heaps. We're going to play heaps of 30k. Wouldn't even mind getting to go at 40k going in there as well. Now, also, the comments on the channel are off, or hopefully they'll be on this time. I tried to turn them on again. I thought they were on last time, but they weren't. I turned it off during the holidays. Well, not the holidays, like, you know, in my absence. Basically because I couldn't monitor the comments. So I'm trying to turn them back on. And for now, look, the comments will come back on the channel. If the settings don't work this time, I'll contact YouTube support and see what's up. In addition, if you want, we have a Facebook page as well. So feel free to go ahead and check out our Facebook page. You can comment stuff on there. And that I try to get to the messages as quickly as possible. Can't always get to them all, but yeah, you can definitely comment on there and talk to us here at Command Center from the Facebook group as well. Sons of Horus Praetor, definitely a Legion Praetor. It says right here, it comes in even heavier armor. Praetor in Terminator armor, who's ready to make the Age of Darkness a little bit darker. And I think they just nailed it like 100% here with this model. Like, you know, the thing is, you know what I get from this model? I tell you right now, it's like, you know, the challenge is, how do you get a Legion to be evil, but also be like knightly as well, and you know, follow that whole sort of broken from the mold sort of, you know, they just lost their path because they're not completely mutated yet, you know, but they are showing a little bit of flamboyance and evil, but they still need to show a little bit of regal and knightliness in there. And what I actually think does it for me with this model is the helmet. The helm. The helm, it looks like something you'd see on a Grey Knight Terminator. Right? Like, honestly, like, it's Cataphractii, but it also mixes in, you know, a little bit of sort of that patterning up here, a little bit of Sisters of Battle, sort of, you know, there's sort of like, I don't know, what are those little French things called? Those little spikes, you know? A little bit of that on there. And I see a lot of Grey Knight in that helmet. And I think it's a really good way of making it unique, but still keeping it, like, respectful of what a traditional Marine Legion would look like. Like, I mean, obviously, you know, Sons of Horus, they become Black Legion, right? They're not, you know, they're not like Emperor's Children where they're, you know, covered with bling. They're not, you know, Alpha Legion who have got heraldry all around them. And they do have a look at the front cover of Legion. I have that debate with people all the time. Alpha Legion cover themselves in ornamentation. So basically, you know, or Salamanders, you know, they had their whole Fire Drake, you know, scale armor, okay, Space Wolves and their Nordic Viking stuff, you know. So Sons of Horus, you need to put something on these characters which is going to make them unique, but still keep them as a baseline Legion, because that's what they were. You know what I mean? You can't really put, you know, too many eagles on them because, you know, Ultramarines do that, you know, so, you know, and heaps of other legions. So what can you do to the model? And I mean, we have the Eye of Horus, okay, and that's something you can use definitely to pimp this model up. And they have done that. But what I really like about this model is the balance, right? The way they've used the iconography on the model to so that it gets the message across, right? But it's not too much. Like, sometimes in design, less is more, okay? And that's one of the biggest problems which I've spoken about in the past. We talk about, you know, when they go through and design characters of Warhammer, they either don't put enough on and it's just bare bones, you know, it's too bland, okay? or they just pack it up with like bling and stocking filler ornamentation and, you know, like those Marines, the Templar Guard or whatever from the Crusade box. What was it called again? It's over here. Indomitus box. You know, the big wrestling belt and the tabard, you know, hanging down like a Superman cape. And, you know, to me, that's just a bit too much. You know, and it's almost like with a lot of the models, especially with the 40k stuff, it's why I like the 30k stuff more, especially nowadays, is because I just feel they're just trying too hard. You know, they're just putting details onto miniatures for the sake of putting details. You know, yeah, fair enough. Emperor's Children, you know, they'd be bristling with like, you know, ornamentation and stuff. Ultramarines to a point, okay? But aside from them, you know, the rest of them they're still warrior legions. So a lot of the times, you know, you can put detail on them, and you should put detail on them, but that detail has to be relevant. It needs to make sense, and it also needs to correspond with the overall aesthetic of their legion, right? This is the thing. And, you know, like, say Imperial Fist, for example, okay? Imperial Fist, they're a really good legion, awesome. I'm about to start an army of those for 30k using sort of more of a gold-black scheme. You know, because I'm not so massive on the banana yellow. I've spoke about that before. But Imperial Fist, like, they've got ornamentation on them, but they're not, you know, falling over with gold chains. You know what I mean? And there's an aesthetic that carries over from the Astartes vehicles to, you know, to their tanks, to their infantry, you know, to their battle barges, and it's just really important to strike that balance. And I really think that this model is doing that. You've got the top knot thing for Sons of Horus, which is iconic for that legion. You know, you've got, as I said, that knightly sort of helmet. It's still Cataphractii, but I can also just see, like, you know, some knight in there, some, like, you know, heavy paladin plated armor look, that so you can see this model can be, it can be good, it can be bad, you know, it can be loyal, it can be traitor, right? It's just a great design in that sense, because it can swing both ways. And that's very important when you're designing a model for a system where the player is being encouraged to, you know, choose between a villain and heroes. Because it actually says that, like, part of the Legion rules, you know, they're made and written in a certain way, and the Legion is designed so that if you collect the Legion in 30k, you know, like, for example, my Alpha Legion is more of a loyal Alpha Legion. That's why it's more of a medium light blue, okay, as opposed to, say, like, you know, a darker blue or whatever, which is probably more popular, or a sapphire blue, which is, you know, or the teal, which was for their elites, right? Which is, yeah, I mean, we spoke about that before, is, you know, a lot of people, they think Alpha Legion's just teal. It's not just teal. They use teal for their elites. There was other color coding in their ranks, but, you know, we'll talk about, it's not a video on Alpha Legion. We're talking about Sons of Horus Praetor, right? So the cape, just really well posed cape, really well sculpted. The pose is unique. It's great. It also is going to allow you room for conversion here on the arm or the weapon. Okay, it's very easily convertible. Both these hands can be chopped off and changed out with other weapons. The pauldrons here in the arms, the position of the arms is in a really good position, because you can have the arm coming down. You can also move it pointing up. So it gives you a lot of freedom there on the model as well. Okay, I'm not absolutely huge on the flag, but it's easy to, the banner standard, sorry, the standard, okay, battle standard. You know, like, but you can cut that off. I would still probably keep it. It's there, and I think it works. It's subtle enough. And because it is a Praetor, though, it would make sense that he would have some kind of ornamentation on him, right? And then, you know, you got your Eye of Horus and stuff like that. I mean, maybe it's a little bit overused on the flag, the Sons of Horus Eye. But I think it's like, it's right on that borderline where it just makes it in, you know? Because the thing is, in Warhammer, Horus Heresy, whatever, okay, basic, you know, everything needs to be over top. It's what it is. Like, you look at the Marines, you know, it's that over the topness, you know, which makes it awesome. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is that, like, there is still a way to go over the top when making things over the top, right? So I just think this is an amazing balance. And the other thing is too, it fits in really well with the Justarian Terminators, right? It fits in really well with them. Okay, I'm not sure about scale. I'd hope that it'd be a little bit bigger than, you know, the Justarian Terminator models. You can make them out of Cataphractii though and stuff like that. So that doesn't matter. But you know what? I dare say with a little bit of conversion, you could even make Justarian Terminators out of this model. Cut the banner off. You know, it depends. I mean, you'd probably be able to rotate the head a bit, you know, reposition the arms, different areas. I think your legs are going to be the biggest problem in terms of conversion, because the one thing you don't want to do, and I had this when I did my Alpha Legion Fire Drake models for the Rewards of Treason. I don't have a video on it, but you check out my Instagram. I got some photos of them, and I mixed actually 4 kits together to make those. But yeah, like the problem I had is that the reason why I had to use 4 or 5 kits was because, you know, the legs would just repeat itself over the one model. So you've really got to work on, you know, when you're converting, watching those legs, because, you know, it's more acceptable that characters will be looking in the same direction, or that they might have, you know, their arms sort of in the same direction. Like you could kind of get away with that a little bit. Although, you know, having variance is always better. But the problem is when it comes to the legs, if everybody's standing on the rock in exactly the same way, you really just break that suspension of disbelief, and it just looks like the same model, and it just looks really cringy. You lose that sort of fourth wall effect, and then yeah. So I'd recommend maybe, I think the legs, you'd have to either just cut that bottom half off, which would be a shame, because, you know, those Legion drapes or whatever you call them, yeah, the Romany things, I can't remember the name of them now, basically are there and they look great, so you wouldn't want to lose those. But I'm thinking, yeah, you either cut it in half or you got to replace the leg. You're going to have to saw it off. Yeah, the skulls are even really good. So the skulls are there. They look like, you know, they're not taking away from the model. Maybe it's like the way they're painted in bronze and stuff like that, you know, but I just feel as though that, you know, those skulls are really, really working as well. So like just all across the board, just fantastic model. I mean, the paint job's beautiful. Black is not an easy color to make unique, just to be flat. I mean, it's not the hardest of thing to paint, but it's not easy either. You know, there's a lot of edge highlighting and stuff, and they've done really well with nicking the armor a little bit to help to separate that void, that sort of like empty black color that will just fill the gap. I think decals on this model in this paint job, just talking about the paint job at the moment, putting some decals there to add detail, I think would have been too much, because once again, you talk about design, it all becomes balanced. It's the same reason with my Pure Knight. Like even me, what you'll notice is that, you know, the it's balancing out. So, you know, you've got the checkers on one side and then the checkers on the other side, so it balances out, right? Then you've got, you know, on the back there's checkers, and then you've got more of that over this side. So you really just got to strike that balance in design and in painting, and you know, that's just my opinion. That's stuff I look for when I look for, you know, stuff that's painted well. I look for uniqueness, I look for balance, I look for a lot of these weird things, you know, and I like to see something different, you know, from the models that I look at. Because I mean, let's face it, you know, there's really no excuse for having terribly painted models anymore, you know, on the internet. You know what I mean? There's so many tutorials now on the internet. GW have got them, like, you know, they're all over YouTube. There's like so many awesome channels that do them, you know, and so it's not hard. It's not like you're going back, you know, 30 years, whatever, and you pick up your Goblin Green and you get your sand and you put it on the thing and you're like, ooh, how do I make this look real? Like you literally type in 2 words and it comes up. So, you know, it's great because there's so much content available to us. But on the other hand, you know, there's really no excuse for having terrible stuff. And look, here's the thing. It wouldn't affect me. I'd still play people and all that, but I just think it should be, you know, I think it should be not too much to ask to at least have like a 3 color minimum, a wash, you know what I mean, on some models. You know, it's not too much to ask. Okay, so you know, I don't get to put as much time into my models as what I'd like. Sometimes I just have to call stuff done when it's done because I want to go out, I want to play with them painted, you know, and you know, but even myself, you know, like you don't want to rock up with unpainted stuff, especially when everyone else rocks up with these beautiful armies, and you know you don't want to let them down either, and you want to try to put in the effort. But anyway, so yeah, so that's basically what I think about the model. So yeah, look, he's clad in Cataphractii, the usual deal, and then the Games Workshop just plugging their other books and stuff, which are really awesome. Horus Rising, False Gods, and Galaxy in Flames. If you do live under a rock and you've never read those books or listened to I recommend the audio books actually. I really enjoy the audio books. You can check them out on Audible. Also Mac books as well, audio books. Give them a listen if you haven't. Even if you're getting into the Horus Heresy, you're just starting. They're fantastic to just sit there painting to them and just listening to those books. So awesome. This artwork here looks like some new artwork. What's interesting here, I just realized this marine here, this design aesthetic looks like it's been taken from or heavily inspired from the Space Marine PC game. They had that style of helmet. So that's interesting. I wonder if they extracted the 3D model and then painted over it. Kind of looks like it. If you look at this model, it looks a bit photoshopped in. It looks like this is a 3D model they've taken into Photoshop, painted over that, and then come in here, I think taken something out of one of the codexes, repainted it. I think the artist's composition is not very good though, because you have brighter colors here, you've got darker colors here. They're not matching too well, so you know he's popping out a little bit too much. But whatever, look, if that was the intent, that's fine. But you know, a bit more composition here could have been good. But anywho, that's me having a little bit of an art rant. Still lovely work. Mad credit to the artist, and you know, amazing work, and keep it up. Okay, so yeah. Now, just before we wrap the video up, I'd just like to talk to you a little bit about some of my opinions on some of the other opinions that have been going on around the net. I haven't had the time to watch a lot of the other stuff yet, but I've seen some flickerings happening, and I usually, so we'll talk about it a bit. So the main thing I've seen so far is that a lot of people saying that, yeah, it's a good model and everything, but they just feel bummed out because there's other characters that they wanted instead, and stuff like that. And like, first of all, I just want to say, I understand your point, and I see your point, and I see your argument, okay? And it is a completely valid point, and there's no denying, Games Workshop need to sort of have a look at their customer base and what they want, and actually pay attention to their surveys, okay? If they're going to waste it, hand it out, and they need to know their own lore as well, and their own bloody IP. That we know that, okay? This isn't going to be another, divorced from Games Workshop video, okay? But I will say it how it is, all right? I try to be as impartial as I can, okay? But the thing is, here's the thing, all right? I want to put it to you this way. We are getting models, right? If you scroll down, you can have a look. Now, I covered Sol Tarvitz, I think. I didn't cover these guys. I didn't cover the other Sons of Horus Praetor in a standard armor, Mark, like whatever it is, 2 or 3 or whatever. 4? It's actually probably Mark 4, actually. It's a custom version of Mark 4, because you can see because of the helmet. Beautiful model. If I had done a Sons of Horus army, I'd literally create like my troops out of this model, because it's just, yeah, it looks gorgeous. Or maybe some of the Reapers, I'd use this model as a base and cut stuff up. But problem is with Sons of Horus, why I'm probably not going to get them anytime soon, is because black, heaps of my armies are already black, so I want to stay away from that. Considering my Imperial Fists are also going to be black. Also, black's a cool color, don't get me wrong. But the other problem is that this sort of sea green is also very close to Alpha Legion. So, yeah, I really like Sons of Horus, but I think if I was to do an army, it would be more of a Black Legion army. I started doing one before where I mixed, like, did I think I called it like Wormhole Void Armor or something. And I started doing it on Obliterators, and it's on the channel there. and we had it so we had like a glossy black with like a purple refraction. And I thought that was cool. You know, you guys know I like my color shifting stuff and, you know, all that sort of candy effect stuff, you know. I've got other legions. Heaps of my legions are straight, you know, flat matte colors. It's the only reason I've been doing that a lot lately. It's because I've already painted like 100 things matte, you know. So, but anyway, so talking about the variance in release. So yeah, like the thing is though, you know, here's a go. We're getting heaps of releases, right? They're coming, and you know what? Honestly, if you're not going to get a model that you don't particularly want, like if it's not your first pick, if the models that are coming out are not your first pick, then convert them, maybe. Like, and here's where I disagree. Now, I'm not going to mention who said it because 99.9% of the time I'm agreeing with this person, and I see the point. But on the other hand, you know, it's a little bit, you know, it's like, guys, look, here's a go. Okay, Warhammer, Horus Heresy costs money, okay? We know that. We understand that. Games Workshop haven't changed in 30 years. They're not going to change now. So you've either got to A, just, you know, pay for the money to convert stuff, or B, find a way around that price hike, which I kind of did, which is 3D printing stuff. Instead of buying like, you know, a box of heads, whatever, I'll 3D print my own heads. And, you know, that's a way of sort of reducing my costs. And as I said in my last video, I'm buying off eBay and stuff, so I'm not really, you know, we spoke about that in the other video. I'll leave that there, okay? But that's the thing. And to me as well, like, here's a go. Convert it. Like, if you're not getting a Salamander's army unit that you want, or you're not getting a Raven Guard army unit that you want, or whatever, yeah, it sucks. There should be more characters. Yeah, sure, there should be more. But at the same time, to me, like, conversion's part of the hobby. Like, here's the thing. You know, if you got some Full Amatris Terminators, right, from the Ultramarines, there's no model for them. Now, Ultramarines are the poster people, right, of the hobby. They're everywhere, right? But I would really like them to have like Full Amatris Terminators. But there's bigger problems with the hobby right now, including the rules, especially for 40k, than worrying about, you know, having a bit of a sulk, like, and not that I could talk about that, but you know what I mean? Like, over, oh, I didn't get the model I wanted right then and now. Like, we live in a world where, you know, it's not like 30 years ago where you walk in a Games Workshop and there's like one tactical squad box and a Terminator squad box, and you've literally got those parts to work with. We've got 3D printing now. We've got independent, like, retailers who are sculpting their own stuff, you know. Yeah, basically selling independent parts and things like that. Libra Demonica and things like that, doing amazing kit parts and stuff. Like, they've got a new Alpha Legion Dreadnought top component coming out for the Invicta Warsuits and the Redemptor Dreadnoughts for 40k. And I'm thinking, like, I might try to do something like that for my 30k army. But yeah, like, there's options, you know. So here's the thing, you know, Steve doesn't get his Full Amatris Terminators. Boo-hoo, get the box of tissues. Mate, you know what you do? You get a Cataphractii Marine, then you go get the missile racks from the Siege Tyrant Terminators, right? If you can't afford to buy them, and rightfully so, because Games Workshop pricing is bullshit, then just go, I'll be demonetized now. So basically then just go and get some bits. Like, you know, there's third-party apps, there's print your own stuff, get an STL. There you go. Missile rack on the Cataphractii Armor Terminators. Get some Emperor's Children, you know, regal and embroidery and heraldry, those sort of eagles and stuff. Stick them on a bit, because the Ultramarines had a bit of that stuff. And there you go, you got your new unit. So as much as I can understand where people are coming from, and it is a massive concern that, you know, we're not, you know, getting the exact models that we wanted for Christmas. You know, I didn't get my pony when I was 16 and all this kind of stuff like that. At the same time, in my opinion, converting and leaving room in the hobby And I'm not sick enough for Games Workshop. It's the last thing I'm going to do. But on this, I have to disagree a little bit because, you know, I want a bit of room in my hobby for conversion, you know, like I want to be able to say, okay, there's no, you know, I don't really like, there's no real model for like Alpha Legion Fire Drakes. So I want to convert it. You know, I want to go ahead, convert it. I want some room in there for conversions. And we've got that much stuff like over the 40k models and over the 30k models that, like, you know, we've got so much stuff there. There's plenty of room for keep bashing, guys, girls, and people, okay? Like, I mean, I've seen people, you know, they're getting, like, parts off Space Wolves, like the little teeth, and they're making, like, little necklaces for Alpha Legion and that. Like, you know, like Hydra's teeth, like, they've, in 40k, they've got, like, a chain sword. I think it's Whale of the Hydra or Teeth of the Hydra or whatever. And they were getting Space Wolf teeth, like, on the chains and sticking them on, you know? So there's plenty of room for it. So although I see, it's just 20 cents, I just wanted to give my 20 cents there, guys. Like, although I see the point, and I'm not saying that, you know, people shouldn't want to, you know, have nice things, but at the same time, I mean, why don't you just go out and make a conversion, right? That's why, you know, there's a lot of room for that. And I know those people do heaps of conversions, and they're awesome and all that, 100%. But at the same time, just convert it up. Who cares, you know? So personally, look, to me, that doesn't worry me. If I don't get my specific Raven Guard model exactly when I want it. I mean, I want an Omegon model. Okay, I want rules for Omegon. We're still waiting for the Emperor of Man. Okay, he's in the Custodes book, or the original overpowered one. Okay, his actual, it says in there under Valdor's rules, basically that if Valdor is your HQ, or in your army, he is always your HQ unless the Emperor of Man is present. And it actually says that in the rules, in Inferno, I think it is. So maybe that got written out, maybe that got FAQ'd. Let me know in the comments back down below, if hopefully they'll be on with this video. If not, stick around. You can jump onto the Facebook. Link will be in the description down below. You can get a comments happening in there. So, yeah, guys, look, so I want to also start live streams up as well. I'll let you know when they're happening, so you guys come on and we can all have a chat and stuff together. I'll let you know, it'll probably be in about 2 weeks' time, but I'll let you know a good date for that. I'm looking at the YouTube metrics. Most of our viewers are from the US, a lot in Texas, also England, even though we're an Australian channel. It looks like we've got like a fair bit of you know, overseas subscribers. So we want to make sure that we're looking after everybody, and we're making them, you know, we're making them in times where everybody can participate and attend, right? So yeah, fantastic. We'll leave it there, everybody, for today. Thank you so much for watching once again. There is some more stuff I want to talk about, but we'll leave it for another video. Yeah, I'll catch us in the next video. Have fun, everybody. Keep wargaming for the Emperor or the False Emperor, whichever's best for you. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Thank you.